All right, let's transition out of that into the live stream as well. It's Mornings with Matt and Bob. We're blessed to be hanging this morning with Ron Funches, who's at Cap City Comedy Club, by the way. There's two shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. And
see him while you can.
I know some of you still haven't been in the beautiful, brand new Cap City Comedy Club. I do miss the fact that you can rent rims while you're at the show from the old club.
That was fun.
I missed that part of the old club. But the new club, there's plenty of parking. And
you're a heartbeat away from Louis Vuitton if you just want to slip over and drop a few grand.
You're a heartbeat away from one of the big premier stores from Bob's ex-girlfriend. So it's really
come on, man.
A nice thing.
Why you gotta do that to me? Why you gotta throw shade?
Nice. By the way, we're streaming right now. It's brought to you by Panadas Eat Happy. And Renegade
Trucks, baby.
RenegadeTruck.net.
That's Bob's line, but I think he shut down thinking about that
I'm sitting here. I'm going through the movies that you have coming up, okay? I gotta know about you playing James Brown in Scroll Wheel of Time, I think it's called. That's coming out soon. Where it's basically an iPod becomes a time machine or something.
Something like that. It's wild.
And you play James Brown?
Yes.
Did you get some moves?
I got some
that
moves,
thing where
and I got the insanity, and I got the voice. I do a lot of haze. I'm not going to do it because it's going to ruin my voice. Yeah, a lot of that. But it was a real wild time, and it was like, we shot at 3 in the morning, and I was wired. And I was like, this is perfect. I was just freaking out.
Have you ever seen him live?
No,
I did it. I saw him once with Maceo.
Oh, my
With
God.
Maceo.
With Maceo, won't you blow?
Yeah, yeah. And the guy that carries his capes, James Brown, I can't remember his name, but he's got a dude that just brings
a cape.
Brings
dude?
a cape, puts
I
it
wish
over.
I had a cape,
you need a cape, dude.
I'm working on it. I'm trying.
Just got
You
a
got the
nanny,
nanny.
bro. Give him a
Yeah.
Why were they shooting at 3 in the morning to affect the cast?
Probably. We were just like, it was like a graveyard in the middle of the night.
Night scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there somebody you would like to play? You play James Brown. You ever think about like in an not an auto, but in a biography movie, a biopic?
I'd like to. I want to be. I mean, the thing that came to mind is that I think I would be a fun Beast from X-Men.
Yeah.
I think I carry that both
we gotta get
intelligence
you in
and
there.
strength, and then just if they ever want to make a biography of the pro wrestler Coco Beware, I think
Coco Beware.
Job.
All right, back to the
Gerald
internet.
Levert.
Back to
I also
the
look
internet.
like Gerald Levert.
I love Gerald Levert.
That's perfect.
Wow,
Is
Coco Beware.
were you a wrestling kid when you grew up? Were you watch all
I
wrestling?
just love wrestling to this
Still
day.
today?
Oh, I love wrestling. Yeah. for
What
sure.
do you think it is about the wrestling that you love? It's. Have you been shocked by how many? I think they all kept it quiet, but so many stand-ups love wrestling.
It's similar jobs because either you get it or you don't. Some people would never understand why you would want to do that for a career, and some people get it right away.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I like about it, the struggle of it, the hard work of. I know a lot of wrestlers that are independent wrestlers, and then watching them work for like $50 a night, coming through the ranks, and then see them get a TV contract and be able to buy a house for their family, take their wives on honeymoons. It makes me, I'm like, oh, I relate to this so much.
Right.
And then other than that, I love the pop and circumstances. I like watching people beat each other up, but then I like knowing that they're friends.
Do you have favorites right now?
I got a few favorites right now. I host a wrestling podcast. I just started on Sundays live on Spotify, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called One Fall with Ron Funches. We get wrestlers to come over, we get comedians and musicians, and we kind of just have like a silly, intelligent talk about wrestling of the week without getting all weird about it. So I'd say my favorite wrestlers right now, personality-wise, is this guy named The Miz and Big E. There's just really cool dudes. I really like them. And then wrestling-wise, there's this dude named Sami Zayn, and he's just killing it. He's just so funny, so smart. Like, it's just good to watch. He's really good.
That's how.
Yeah.
Who was the dude we had so much fun with who called us recently?
Yeah.
He is.
He has 2 names. Corbin?
Corbin.
Baron
Yeah.
Corbin.
Yeah.
But I don't know which Corbin we got that day because sometimes he's bad, sometimes he's good, whatever. But
Right.
he was a blast. both off air and on air, and we had a
he
ton
seems
of
like
fun
a
with
good
him.
dude. He used to be a football player.
Yeah.
He wears his wrestling gear now is horrible. He looks like a wet sewer rat. But other than that, he seems super cool.
I see the Undertaker around my area, where I live, all
lives
the
out there.
time. People are always going, "That's the Undertaker over there. Look, he's over there. He's here."
Does it get colder when he walks by?
I don't get that close, man. He's the Undertaker.
No,
but-
Ron, you do a bunch of work. Do you have time to watch any shows? Are you liking any shows right now that are out? Because Matt and I just watched The Patient, and we've been loving it. I want to know what are you into right now, if anything?
I mean, I watch a lot of wrestling, like I said. I play a lot of video games, so I don't watch that much TV. But when I do, me and my wife, we're watching a lot of 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh,
all
dude.
the time.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
dude.
turned into it.
what
huh?
is it about
How
it?
many years? How many years have I been watching?
6 probably now.
Like even before Big Ed, I've been like, that show.
Oh yeah, I mean the
That
show is
show.
better, but I mean, it's a spectacle now. Pre Big Ed, it was really fun show
Real
too.
fun, yeah.
Like
it seemed more real back then.
Yeah.
Like real. Now it seems like
a couple of couples stayed together back then.
It's
and it's got so many franchises that roll off.
It's a universe. They call it the 90 Day Fiancé universe.
we watched it for a bit with my wife, and then she stopped watching it. Her father, who she was estranged from most of her life, he took any of the money he had, and he flew to Russia to meet his bride-to-be. Mm-hmm. He'd had over a year long relationship
How
with
much
her
money,
online.
I wonder, was he shipping out?
It's 5 figures. Mm-hmm. And he went over there and was gonna, and she said, "Well, I'll meet you at this fountain in this town." And he went and sat at the fountain, and 3
Ooh,
guys.
this sounds romantic. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be
and then
so
they
good.
stayed together forever.
No, 3 guys showed up to the fountain
rolled him?
and beat him and took all of the family money. And he managed to somehow find a way to fly home on his own. And I think there was a sadness around that.
Yeah.
Eventually, that Kara was like, "I don't think I can do this anymore. It's too close to the home." It's too close to home. So we've switched over to like Love Is Blind and what's the one where they
Love Island, Love
Mm.
Is Blind, and
But my wife pretty much do you run the TV, or does your partner run the TV, or
It's 50-50, and I think like any couple, you got our together shows, and then we got our separate shows. So anything like animated and violent is our separate shows. If like I watch The Boys, or the last show I think I really got into and just like watched them sitting was Peacemaker. I really like that show. So those are the shows we watch separate, and then we watch 90 Day Fiancé together. The show called This Fool on Hulu. I love that show.
I haven't started that, but I hear it's amazing. It's the 2 kind of cholo dudes, right? Yeah, and it's awesome. I think they started out with on YouTube and skits and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's
I'll
Chris
check it out.
Estrada, Frankie Quiotes. They're 2 great comedians and great friends of mine in LA. And one of my biggest goals is to like create my own show like that, and to see them do the show in their vision, and it's so fun. It's
what
like
is
so
your
funny.
show? Have you thought about it yet?
I've always wanted to make a show about my son, my oldest son, and I, and growing up, being a single dad of a son on the autism spectrum, and just the funny stuff that came through that, and the hard stuff that came through that of me and my son growing up together.
Yeah.
Just something like that.
Have you gotten into the position where you're pitching it yet?
Oh yeah, I've sold this a few times.
How come we're not getting further along? Is it COVID, things like that? What can we do to help?
Just motivate me, I guess.
Okay.
Try again.
so it's never gone to pilot or anything like that.
I've never gone to actually be shoot.
Right.
No, I've sold it to a couple places, and they, we wrote it, and it got to like the final phase before they shot it, and then they decided to pass on it. But I'm trying now to think about trying to rework it, what a movie version of it would look like. So.
I didn't know that you were a single father with a boy. I have a son as well who's Spectrum son. He's fun. It's a different challenge, especially when you're not even sure how to be a father as well.
Yeah.
I enjoy the way he communicates with me. One of my favorite moments, because he doesn't always emote, and I do remember it bothered me, because you're growing up, you're having to learn how to be a father, and it bothered me that he seemed more emotional with my wife, but not with me. Like I was a stranger in the house. And I do remember very clearly the day that my wife had been gone. I'd been hanging out with him, trying to spend more time with him. And he finally tried. It was the first time, because he would say, you too, if you said I love you to him, but he would never say to me, I love you. And then it was very quiet in the house. And then I didn't even prep it, anything. He just goes, hey, Dad, I love you. And I was like, oh, my God, that feels so good. And I said to him, hey, that's really important. I really appreciate that. I want you to know. And as I'm saying that, he goes, when Mom's not here.
Conditional love.
And I go,
So
what?
you
And he
get
goes,
why this show would work.
yeah, and I go, what? And he goes, I love you when Mom's not here. When Mom's here, I love her. But it also, without having all the language, it helped me understand how he sees the world and how things work for him. Is that, sometimes I think love for us is not, I want to do for you. For me, my brain is broken, and love was how can you fix me? How can you fix the broken inside of me or whatever? And I was needing that, and it helped me learn. And so I would love that show. I think it'd be fantastic, and I'd love to see you do it. I do think the best shows being made by what I want to call craft television now, whatever, the non-networks, are all by comics. We're seeing so many of them. I guess maybe not all of them. There's also like Res. Have you seen Res Dogs? Reservation Dogs?
Reservation Dogs. Yeah, I've seen some of it. But, a couple Kirk Fox is in it. I love him. And Travis Thompson, this rapper from Seattle. Been a fan of his.
I don't know
for
Travis,
years.
but Kirk's been fantastic in his role too. And there's so many of those shows that are good. Atlanta was fantastic. Been so many good, and I would love to see that. I think it would be fantastic and a different look than we've seen for a lot of things. Do we have someone calling in that wants to ask a question?
Oh, he commented on The Undertaker. So
and then he was gone.
So who are
I
some
love
of your musical heroes? And have you had a chance to meet them in your celebritydom? Is that a word?
Not necessarily meet them, but I did. Like, my favorite group and big inspiration for me was Outkast. I love them, and I did this tweet that made people mad, where I said that we'll be ready to evolve as a society when we're ready to admit that the Outkast is better than the Beatles, and it made a lot of people mad.
How are you feeling right now, Bob? Let's ask Bob. Let's ask the guy who asked the question.
Damn, dude.
That's who I was looking at. That's who I was looking at.
some of Three Stacks
That's a hot
bars.
take, man. That's a hot
It's
take.
a real hot take.
But I'm an Outkast fan. I don't know what they've done for me lately, but I think
What have the Beatles done lately?
Revolver. They got a new remix
Jason's
of Revolver
laughing in the
out today.
I
think
didn't
we
know the
all
Beatles
bought
were
speaker
putting out
box.
singles.
Yeah. Here's another new banger from the Beatles.
Featuring Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Bob's doing it. Look,
Yeah,
Bob's
yeah,
doing
yeah.
the
Now, I'm
uncomfortable
gonna
chord rap.
I'm gonna try to get some street cred now.
Music purists hate
Wasn't
that.
Andre married to Erykah Badu for a while?
Yes.
I hung out with her one night, and she was super cool.
She's super cool.
super cool.
So similar thing. There was a reaction from people who were like, in which my whole thing was just to make people kind of think about it a little bit. And then I got my manager got a message from Andre 3000 where he was like, "Thank you so much for saying that, and we appreciate how much you appreciate it." And he sent me like their old albums. He signed for me. He sent me like some of his, like, he just makes this art and he just signed it, and I like took the card that he wrote. I took the art and I had everything framed up, and it's in my office.
I hadn't even thought of this, but you have a high profile on Twitter. At least you did until yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen with Twitter going forward in the last 24 hours. But have you been able to really use Twitter to your advantage to get signed and personal artworks from people that you look up to?
Yeah, it's been helpful in that way. Mostly now I just try to avoid it. I don't even use it that often.
I'm going to tweet at you again to ask you to bash on the Beatles a little more, just to see how Bob handles the rest of the morning.
I'm not a Beatle hater. My mom, one of the biggest Beatle maniacs I ever met. I'm a fan of some of their work. I just feel like some people, I think it's hard to be both legendary and overrated, but they are that.
You just haven't heard the remixes, man.
Tim Dillon was in here one morning and Bob had like a book or something. You had something with Anthony Bourdain on it, and Tim Dillon just started saying, I hope he rots in hell.
That was like 2 weeks after he died.
I hope Anthony Bourdain rots in hell. He's a piece of trash. And was saying it only because he could
Yeah.
tell you were a fan and was
Yeah.
just trying to drive you through the roof.
Yeah,
and
he
it worked.
did.
It made you very angry.
I mean, the guy he's still warm.
Yeah,
when he
a
said
couple
it.
weeks, I get
Yeah.
it. You need a little time.
Yeah.
You're like
Bob
tragedy
gets really
plus
into-
time.
Hey, so you got to meet Guy Fieri. Speaking of
Yeah.
chefs, so what?
Oh, you put
notice
that
how-
Italian on it,
I
too,
put- I
didn't you?
pronounced
Yeah,
his-
I call him
it's
Guy
Fieri.
Ferrari.
You call him Guy Ferrari. What's
Yeah.
he like in person?
He is the closest thing that I would imagine that it would be like to meeting real life Santa Claus. He makes you feel like a kid.
Yeah.
He makes you feel so happy. He's nice to everyone. The food there was great, of course.
Yeah.
And he is like a legitimate sweetheart. He just fills you with joy. I think he is Santa Claus, and that's what he does when he's not delivering toys.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now, but I'm on an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. You want me to sign something for you? You want something for your office?
Give him a Beatle record.
I'll sign something for you, dude. I've been on Triple D.
You've been on it? Were you eating food?
Yeah,
Were you
I was
making
eating food. Eating food with
Okay.
slab barbecue here, which makes some good barbecue sandwiches. They had a sandwich episode, and they called a couple guys in that were super fans, and we got to be on the show. I got interviewed. First, you don't know. And the drag was not a drag, but it was like. So I had to be background for the beginning of the shoot. It was a couple hours. So I'm eating this gigantic.
Let's
rib.
be honest. You got to be background.
Yeah.
There's no had to.
Okay.
There's no other
All right, I
option
got to
for
be
you.
background.
You
And
weren't,
I'm
they weren't
eating-
putting you in the kitchen.
I'm eating this. I had to eat this gigantic rib sandwich. I'm not a big eater. I eat this big sandwich. So shoots about halfway through. The producer comes up. He goes, "We want to interview you. We want you on camera for the interview. You got to eat another sandwich." I had to eat. I had the meat sweat so bad when I left there, dude.
The things we do for our art.
I know.
We're coming right back. Ron, I want to ask you for a favor. We have to give away some tickets, and you're a writer. You will help us write some trivia questions. We don't
Sure.
actually write them down. We're too lazy. We've been very
come off
lazy at
the
this
top.
job. Look, this whole thing, radio, is probably 2-3 more weeks before the whole industry goes away. So we're not going to
Same
put.
thing with comedy.
Yeah, we're not putting any extra effort into it. We're doing the bare minimum. Do not call right now. It ain't happening yet. But we do have the last grip of tickets for Lucktoberfest, which starts tonight, and that's going to be at 512-834-0937. But we're not doing the giveaway yet. We'll let you know with our special celebrity question writer. That's it. We're done with the stream. Thanks to Empanadas
And
Empanadas.
Renegade.net, renegadetruck.net. Renegade Truck
so,
Accessories.
Hang tight, everybody.
want a renegade.
Hey, there you go. Dang. Check in the mail.
Speaking of, I want to tell you, take 60 seconds to tell you about Breaks to Go, breaks2go.com. Nobody wants to go drive, then sit in a waiting room somewhere and have their brakes worked on, thumbing through a copy of Field and Stream magazine from 1987, looking at the Confederate flag stickers. It's not good for you. It's not healthy for you. Breaks to Go is genius. There's a couple of guys. They took brake shops, shrunk them down, put it in the back of a fleet of vehicles. They come to you wherever you are. It's brake repair anywhere. They worked on people's brakes who were literally went into Alamo Drafthouse to watch a movie.
Mornings
You're
with
watching
Matt
your kid
and
play
Bob
soccer.
in studio is brought to you by Empanadas. Available in the frozen food aisle of your favorite grocery store. And Renegade Truck Accessories, your source for truck caps, bed covers, lift kits, window tinting, and custom services. Mornings with Matt and Bob in studio is brought to you by Empanadas. Available in the frozen food aisle.